Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about some of the things that I use for travel, some things that I really do like and that I'm going to use again and again, and some things I probably won't buy again or won't use again for certain travel things and certain reasons why. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing that I would probably say that I'm not going to use again um, are these packing cubes. And here's the reason why. So for these packing cubes specifically, I like packing cubes 100%. So definitely, if you're going on especially a long trip, I would 100% recommend packing cubes. But for these ones that I have here, they're not compression packing cubes. So I would say that's going to be my next purchase is I'm going to be getting the compression ones. These ones are really good, and like I said, they do help a lot, especially if you're going on a long trip. I like them because I can kind of put all sorts of different items in different cubes. So like one of them was tops, and then one of them was bottoms. One of them was, underwear and socks, and then one of them was pajamas. So it was nice because it kept me really organized throughout the trip, especially when you're like digging through your suitcase and you're gone for that long. It can be very, anxiety inducing. It can be very just a lot, and it could just be sometimes it's just overwhelming. So having packing cubes is great to having everything completely separate so you're not digging through. But like I said, this time I'm definitely going to get the compression ones just so I can also save space because, especially if you're going for a long period of time, you want to kind of mitigate as much luggage as you're bringing with you. Not in the sense that you want to pack less, but you don't want to have a lot of items with you in your hand because it can be exhausting. It can be very just, annoying. Um, Especially like in a different country, you're trying new modes of transportation, you're going places you haven't been before, so you don't really know what to expect in certain respects. So having at least like, it a little bit more compact and a little bit more easy to maneuver around with is a lot really helpful. Like for example, like when we went to so 2 years ago we went to Europe. We went to London and Paris, and I bought my biggest suitcase with me. I had the packing cube, so everything was nice and organized, but it wasn't compressed. I definitely could have, if I had the compression cubes, I feel like I could have bought a smaller suitcase, and it would have been a lot nicer because there's a lot of transportation you have to do. And then, just cobblestone streets. I know we've probably all seen that on Instagram. People lugging their suitcases down cobblestone streets or up staircases because there's a lot of places that might not have elevators. So bringing your biggest suitcase is sometimes not the best idea just because it's just much more of a hassle. So definitely compression packing cubes and trying to get something into like one suitcase that's a little bit more compact is definitely the best move. I 100% recommend. But the next thing I recommend that I do recommend gives it a thumbs up is walking sneakers. So I know we probably all have a pair of sneakers in our closet that we love, but walking sneakers are a must, especially if you're going somewhere for a long time. If you plan on doing a lot of stuff and doing a lot of sightseeing, walking sneakers are needed. I recommend Rika. They're a really good brand, and they specifically make a ton of different sneakers, but they have specifically walking sneakers. And so that's something you should definitely look at. Like I have a pair of Adidas, and they're very cute, but they are not good walking sneakers. They are very flat, they don't have an arch on them, and they're not supportive of walking. And especially if you're doing a lot of sightseeing, like you're going to be doing a lot of steps. So I definitely recommend the Rika, I hope I'm saying that right, Rika sneakers. So you can buy them directly off their website. This is what their website looks like. Um, or you can buy them. I bought mine off of DSW. They were on a good price. But yes, definitely look into that. There's obviously like a lot of different sneakers. There's more fashionable sneakers, basketball shoes, running shoes, walking shoes are your best bet. Let's see, but yeah, you can see kind of on here on their website they have different walking sneakers, and I would say they're definitely like middle of the road price. Like I got mine for probably like $60. The ones on here are $89.99, so they're kind of middle of the road. Obviously they're not like Hoka's. Hoka's are kind of more on the 130 to 120-ish end. You know, Sambas are like more too. They're probably like 100, 110 or whatever. So they're reasonably priced. $69 to $89 is kind of like the range of how much their sneakers are, but I highly recommend them. And you can see on here it says specifically walking sneaker. So they have different styles, they have different colors. So kind of whatever you prefer, but yeah, make sure they say walking sneaker. Like you can see here, it says walking sneaker. Definitely get something that says walking sneaker because you're going to be walking a lot. And if you do plan on walking a lot or going somewhere where you're doing a lot of sightseeing, you need them, because that's also something, especially if you're going internationally, that's something that will help your jet lag. Because if you are walking around in very uncomfortable sneakers, you're going to have a lot of joint pain, a lot of muscle aches, you're going to be more sore, and that's going to affect your jet lag, or you trying to get onto the same sleep schedule, like at the same time as where you're traveling to. So I definitely recommend that. And it's exhausting. Traveling's already exhausting, so don't add that extra stress on you by not having a good shoe to wear. It's really important. So yeah. The next thing I definitely recommend too is a smaller water bottle. So this is my normal everyday water bottle. I probably wouldn't bring something like this, but maybe like something smaller. I would say like something this size. This is 500 milliliters. As you can see, it's plastic. I also have like an insulated water bottle as well that's a little bit smaller than this, and I highly recommend bringing a water bottle with you, especially if you're going to be out a lot. You want to be able to fill up your water and not have to buy water constantly. You know, I think especially when you're in the airport, I really like this as well. You can fill it up. Obviously, you just dump it before you get to the airport, fill up at the airport, have it on the plane with you, fill it up while you're out and about. There's certain places, obviously, if you live here in America and you're traveling, you know, domestically, you know, there's places where you can probably fill up your water bottle, you know, some cafes, stuff like that, maybe certain restaurants, or, you know, some places will let you fill it up. In Europe, there's a lot of free water stations around. In London, in Paris, especially. France has a lot of water fountains or water dispensers around the city that you're able to fill up. I'm going to Italy this year, so I have heard in Italy too that they have free water dispensers. You'll kind of see them throughout. They're like the natural water through the aqueducts that they have in Rome. So you can kind of just fill up your water, and I think that's the best way. Especially if you're walking and it's gonna be, even if it's not warm out, you're exerting a lot more energy. You need the water with you. So I highly recommend bringing a small water bottle, this size or maybe even a little bit smaller, just so you can keep it with you and you can hold on to it and it's not luggy. Like, to me, this would be too much to lug around with me because it's too bulky. It won't fit in my purse or my bag that I have with me, and it might just be more annoying. So something like this or a little bit smaller, it'd be nice, because even if you have like a bag with you, you could just kind of stuff it in your bag or whatever, so it's not as much of a pain. So I also recommend having, especially when traveling, if you're going to be there for like a longer period of time, I would say more than like 4 or 5 days, I would definitely recommend on having like probably 2 cozy outfits, like comfortable cozy outfits. They don't have to necessarily be pajamas, but I'm saying like more like an athleisure wear outfit, like maybe a pair of leggings or like a pair of like shorts, like kind of more stretchy shorts, or a pair of like nicer sweatpants or something, and like a sweatshirt. Just something a little bit comfortable, like especially if you're going to multiple places and you're going to be using transportation. Sometimes you just want something that's a little bit comfortable. Um, you want to, and especially like if I'm going somewhere, like for example, like if I take the train from somewhere to somewhere else, I want to be something like I rather wear like a like maybe either a pair of like comfortable jeans or a legging, because it's a little bit more I don't know how to say it, compact, or like just more comfortable and easier for me to move around in. If I those kind of like transfer days, I guess you can say, they can be a little stressful. It can be kind of hectic because you're going from another city to another city, or you're going from another country to another country. You kind of want to just make sure you're very comfortable and it's easier for you to move around in, especially if you have to run, your train's taking off and you got to get on your train, or you're going to the airport and you need to get on your plane and it's about to take off. You want something just a little bit easier, more breathable. I would say more breathable, if that makes sense. You don't want to wear a big cargo pant or something thick like a slack and like a big shoe or something. You want to wear something more breathable, so it's easier for you to move around. And you want to get comfortable too, especially if it's like a long train ride or you're on the airplane for a long time. You want to get comfortable. You don't want to be like stiff and stuck and uncomfortable. So another thing that I recommend is a passport cover. You can buy them anywhere, Amazon, Target, whatever. There's cheap ones on Amazon. I bought like a pack of two. One was like for me and one for my boyfriend, and those were really nice, like to make sure that your passport wasn't getting all scuffed up or ruined or anything. And I also liked it because it had like a little pocket with it, and that's where I was putting like boarding passes or any kind of like tickets that I needed for stuff in that little slot. So that's really helpful too. It's not necessary, but it's something that's helpful if you're going on a trip. So I recommend one of those.